everybody.
Hi, friends. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
where we, a couple of atheists, just try not to explode as we explore the doings and goings on here in these United States of America.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, Dan, there are a lot of cultural war battles out there that we seem to maybe not be winning.
Well, here's the thing. Yes, we may or may not.
Feels that way.
Yeah,
right?
we're on a bad trajectory right now. This is the worst possible timeline. We all understand that. But here's the other thing. What if we lose a couple of these? The question is
the world will end.
The question that I want to ask is, okay, how bad will that be? Like we lose one?
This is transgressive, Dan.
How?
This conversation is the conversation we are not allowed to have. And we're going to have it.
We're going to have it. We're going to do it.
Okay. All right.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. We will be canceled. I'm pretty sure.
This is coming up on the second half of the show. So you're going to want to stick around.
This is the last episode of TGIA. Please enjoy as we move forward.
Oh my God. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with a little story about a fabricated crisis. Not a real thing.
Okay.
Story. That is maybe worth us paying a little bit of attention to.
Okay.
Probably not. This is not going to go anywhere. This complete idiot, Randy Fine, a member of the U.S. House of Representatives.
Oh God.
A Republican from Florida.
Uh-huh.
So you know he's quality. He's quality. Yeah. He's a quality member.
Well, here's what
working on the hard issues.
You know you're in for some good quotes. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm guessing the man's a gold mine.
Yeah. Well, this last week apparently he announced what he's calling the Protect Puppies from Sharia Act. Let that sink in for a minute, everyone. This is real. I'm not making up the fact that he's calling this act the Protect Puppies from Sharia Act, which is a response, Dan.
I'm just so mad. I'm just so upset.
The fact that Muslims culturally have an aversion to dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some dispute. There's some having a dog is not forbidden, right?
But they are kind of thought of as filthy animals.
It's about the saliva, is my understanding. If a dog's saliva gets on you, on your hand, or on your clothes, you're supposed to wash it off. Hey, guess what I do? Apparently, I'm following Sharia with regard to my dog. If my dog licks me, I wash my hand, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't I don't ascribe any sort of evil to the saliva or filthiness, but maybe it's just hygienic to go and just if I pet my dog.
I don't know. My dog licks my face and I just
petting.
I just allow it.
Oh boy. Well, you're going to Sharia hell.
I am going to Sharia hell. It's true. That's how bad a Muslim I am.
Anyway,
I accept kisses.
The Protect Puppies from Sharia Act would bar federal funds from any state or city that bans dogs under Islamic Sharia law.
Oh, because good. What a necessary and
I don't know if you've noticed, Dan, cities and states across the nation have been banning dogs,
but basically clamoring to ban dogs. Oh my God, that is. I mean, here's the thing. Obvious, like almost all of the entire platform of the GOP right now is just grandstanding for a conservative Christian base.
Yeah.
But this is And a lot of it is bullshit, but they try to wrap it up in something that seems at least somewhat legitimate on some level.
This guy, Randy Fine, ain't trying that.
He's not even trying for legitimate.
He posted this on X.
Okay.
I am proud to introduce the Protecting Puppies from Sharia Act. Democrats are losing their minds because I made a simple statement. Given a choice between our dogs and those who would ban them, the choice is easy. They can pound sand. This bill will ban federal funds to any state or local government that considers dogs haram.
Wow.
Proceed accordingly, Mom Donnie. This is for real.
So
this
brave.
Guy,
can I just say
for real?
He's so brave. What a bold, strong Christian choice he's making.
Yeah. With apparently no hint of irony.
Oh my God.
At all. Because these people don't get irony, right?
No.
First of all, they
don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
If you've ever driven through the South and looked at the names of various businesses, you know they don't understand irony or double meaning or anything. Anyway, don't worry, Dan. He's found some co-sponsors.
Oh, thank God.
Chip Roy of Texas.
Yeah.
And Keith Self, also of Texas, have joined on in support.
It was, and you know, it's funny. It wasn't until you said the name Mom Donnie that I realized what this is, which is just that they want to claim that this Muslim, what they got up there in New York City, he's gonna come in here and he's gonna make everybody wear hijabs, and they're gonna make them get rid of their dogs, and you can't eat barbecue if you want to, and blah blah blah. And they're just inventing this Sharia hellscape.
Yeah.
That will not happen, that is not going to happen, that was never going to happen.
Right.
And for the first little while, it'll work. They can just pretend like he's doing all of these horrible things. And since nobody gets anything done in the first few months of their tenure, the people can just be afraid that, oh my God, he's instituting Sharia law in New York City.
He hates puppies. Who hates puppies?
Oh my God. So dumb. I hope that this is transparently stupid enough that somebody sees it. That 4 people of his constituency go, the fuck are you doing, man?
No, because it's all about, they think that this kind of stuff is owning the libs.
Yeah.
Right. They think they're scoring points by ticking off a few people online. Right. And I just find it funny.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're going to there's one thing about baiting people into anger and outrage. Right.
Yeah.
And it's an awful impulse, and it's a sick part of our politics right now that the people do this. Right.
Yeah.
But if you're going to try to if that's what you're trying to do, don't make it patently funny. Don't make it so easy to mock, right?
Yeah.
So easy to dismiss
stupid.
You as a complete fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Right. Randy Fine, well done. Well done. You just showed all you're doing is exposing that you're a fucking idiot. Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean,
and it's he's not even good at it. He got some
Yeah.
attention. He got some people like us to say his name, and that maybe has some value to him. But he's not even good at creating rage.
Yeah.
This is so transparently stupid.
Except that this is just sort of a way of, this is the Republican way of starting a rumor. The way that you start the rumor that they hate dogs, the Democrats hate dogs, is you literally put out a bill that's oh, don't worry, everybody. I'll stop them from killing all the dogs. Yeah. And then they're like, wait, Democrats hate dogs? Democrats.
But it only works for the most stupid of their party.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
This doesn't help them electorally. This has no chance of like winning somebody or scaring somebody over to their side. It's so transparently stupid.
Vote for me. I saved the puppies.
Yeah. It's just
dumb. So dumb.
I applaud you for trying to find some method to this madness.
It's so dumb.
It's just dumb.
All right. Well, I am going to take us now to New Jersey, where the
Garden State,
where the Catholic Diocese, just sort of across the river from Philadelphia. This is the
city of brotherly love,
South Jersey. They like all the dioceses. It is the long-standing position of this podcast that if you have a diocese, you have a child sexual abuse problem.
Right.
And they're no different. And they have now agreed to pay $180 million in a settlement.
Wow.
The latest settlement.
Okay.
And here's the thing. I found an AP, I was looking at a few articles about this, and I found an AP article that does a roundup of some of the most recent different settlements on this subject. Just so that, and I thought it would be useful because 180 million is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But is it though? Question mark. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So here's I decided I'd just go through some of these settlements just to see. And presumably one of the things is that you have to think about like how many people this money gets split between. And you have to think about like how much do the lawyers take of that and stuff. So it can sound like a lot and then not end up being all that much depending on how it's divvied. In 2020,
as sort of money going to the victims.
That's all I care about is the victims getting money. I mean, I care a little bit
about. I care that it's hurting the Catholic Church.
That it hurts the church. They need to feel it. They need to feel it hard. So it does matter. That part does matter.
So that they hopefully set up systems going forward.
Right.
Because they don't want to have another payout.
Right.
That they actually try in the future to protect the kids.
And so many of them are like, doing that whole stupid thing of like declaring bankruptcy to try and get out of paying as much as they did or whatever. And some of them are being forced to declare bankruptcy because of these settlements. And good. Fucking good.
Yeah.
But just to put that $180 million into perspective, the big winner or the big loser in this case has been the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, which covers Santa Barbara, Ventura, and Los Angeles counties.
Okay.
So that's a lot of people. That is, that's more than probably a handful of other states put together.
Right.
In terms of people. In 2024, they agreed to pay $880 million to more than 1,000 victims.
Okay.
So that's a chunk of change. And then but that is on top of 740 million that they had to do before that. So the total payout is like $1.5 billion that the Archdiocese of Los Angeles had to pay out.
Feels like a lot.
That feels like a lot.
Yeah.
It's also, these numbers are it's kind of shocking how much money these goddamn churches have. You know what I mean? This is just the diocese. Yeah. It's not, you know what I mean? Like that's not the Roman Catholic, international global church. That is just that diocese. New Orleans Archdiocese agreed to pay $230 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, this is, if you start looking at it, so you're wanting to look at it as a whole, like how much has been taken?
I'm thinking of it in terms of, I'm just trying to put these numbers into perspective with each other. I'm just trying to ask what's a lot, what's not so much, just so that we have a sort of sense of it. the New Orleans payout, that settlement was after years of, going back and forth, negotiating what it's going to be. The Archdiocese then filed for bankruptcy to avoid handling each of the more than 500 abuse claims separately. Because that would be even more. And probably is what should happen, but you just can't. You got to group them together, just so that everybody actually gets their day in court, because otherwise it's just going to drag out over decades.
Yeah.
San Diego, the Diocese of San Diego agreed to $198 million for more than 140 sexual abuse claims.
Okay.
That was way back in 2007. So this was sort of, things didn't start until, 2003 with the whole Boston thing. That was kind of what got the ball rolling.
Right.
2003 wasn't when the ball got rolling, but it was when the Boston Archdiocese agreed to pay $85 million to settle more than 500 lawsuits. So $85 million for 500. That's not. It's definitely been growing since then.
Yeah.
Should be. So that's where
that was
we're
landmark.
at.
When that happened, it was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Unless you think that, obviously none of these are outliers. Oregon, Orange, California, Portland, Oregon, Covington, Kentucky, Philadelphia, Wilmington, Delaware, Oakland, California, all of these had huge, huge payouts.
It's just hearing that list, and I'm sure that's
I don't want to say payouts, because this isn't like a bonanza for people. This is just trying to get justice.
Right. But hearing that list, I'm sure it's not even a comprehensive
not at all.
list, is already shocking, right? Because you're mentioning, this isn't just a couple of dioceses or, one or two bad actors here or there. It just highlights how institutionalized child abuse was, child sexual abuse was, and probably still is, within the Catholic Church.
Yeah. We still see the Catholic Church trying to defend their priests and trying to hide this stuff and trying to, and playing the old shuffle game where they move them to a different place. And instead of, the only thing that they should be doing, the instant that they hear anything, you're not a priest anymore.
Right.
Go sit in the corner. We're going to turn everything we have over to the police and let them handle it. That's the instant thing that they should do. Instead of all of this, we'll have an internal investigation and we'll punish them. And, if we find that it's really bad, we'll send them to the Vatican so that they can sit in the corner for the rest of their priesthood.
So that they can be diplomatically protected.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, ultimately, that's all I see this being sent to the Vatican.
Yeah.
It's just so that they don't internationally untouchable.
So that they don't go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is exactly what they should do. They should be going to jail. And the church should be 1,000% on board with that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the population, this is the only way they're ever going to have population growth for the Vatican. I mean,
they don't need population growth. They don't need it.
Oh, okay. Dan.
Yeah.
This story, Dan, that I'm about to do. It is something I don't understand the vaccine hesitancy. I understand that people have gotten themselves into corners of the internet or just the world where they're hearing a lot of negativity about vaccines.
Yeah.
And all of this made up risk for vaccines that just really isn't there. Right. Especially when weighed against the risks of not vaccinating your children against childhood illnesses like the measles, which is what we're going to be talking about. The measles, famously, basically eradicated by the year 2000 in the United States. It just didn't happen, right?
Yeah.
The vaccine works, and mass vaccination worked.
Yeah.
Up until recently.
We achieved herd immunity.
And a childhood ailment, childhood disease that had, before the vaccine, would burn through the population in waves annually, right? And kids who hadn't gotten it the year prior, good chance they're going to get it this year. And it would just like run through. So the measles, at this point, we look back at the measles as like, oh my God, fucking hell, terrifying. This is the scariest thing. The measles was bad. There was a percentage of people who would develop complications, encephalitis being one of them. And then there's a percentage of those people, 10 to 15%, who would die. Right. It would be fatal, right? And a good percentage of people who got, measles encephalitis, who were never the same afterward.
Right.
It
permanent sort of brain
brain
damage. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, scramble's the right word, but like brain damage, some lasting damage.
I believe that the medical term is it would bake your noodle.
I actually like having my noodle baked. I love it when like something blows my mind. But nonetheless, so we're seeing these stories emerge now, where parents who had decided for whatever reason not to have their children vaccinated against things like the measles, where the kids are getting sick. And that's what this story is. It's a kid by the name of, let's see, Ethan, a little 7-year-old who, he was one, four kids, 4 boys, it sounds like. None of the kids were vaccinated against the measles.
Okay.
But 3 of the 4 contracted the measles, and two of the ones that contracted measles got better, right? Because that's what most people get better from the measles. Right. And once you've had it, you get lasting immunity, right? It's like, it's one of those, you're protected. You get it, you're not getting it again.
Right. Yeah. And
so anyway, but his genius parents, and I will lay all the blame on these 2 geniuses. He kept getting worse. They took him to the hospital, where he wasn't really enjoying his time at the hospital. And they did like an MRI. They did also these scans just to see like, does he have brain swelling? Because that can be a problem. And he didn't have anything. And they were like, he's just not liking the hospital, even though they were like, you actually need to take him to, we're just a small hospital. You need to take him to this big regional hospital,
right,
where he needs proper care, so on and so on. And they're like, no, actually, we're just going to take him home.
He doesn't really love it here. The movies that you guys show aren't great. He doesn't have access to Bluey at all.
So they go home, and he gets worse.
Okay. Sure.
And so they take him back, and they're like, no, you need to get him off to that regional hospital now, right? Now. Well, he gets the encephalitis, right?
Yeah.
And the kid is like, now he's like in and out of like coma.
Encephalitis is brain swelling.
Brain swelling. Yeah. Bad. You don't want your brain to swell.
No, you really
squeezes in.
You have limited room in there.
God. Anyway. So anyway, but the reason that I'm bringing this up is because of the mother's reaction. Her child is unconscious.
Yeah.
If he does recover, if he is better, he's facing like learning how to walk again.
Right.
Learning how to talk again.
Yeah.
Right. And she goes, we're not blaming God for this. Yes, it hurts. Of course it hurts. But God has chosen Ethan for a reason.
Oh my God.
God is doing something and we're going to glorify his name regardless.
And I'm not blaming God for it either. I'm blaming you, lady.
Yeah, you are at fault here. And we wouldn't change it any other way. If I knew this could be the outcome, I still wouldn't have given my son the vaccine.
Even which means you didn't listen to anybody, because you could have known that this could have been the outcome. Yeah. Like we're all out here telling you, hey, this could be the outcome, and you're just not listening. And B, like
the kid was sick in the hospital. They're telling these parents what the outcome. Like the kid is sick, and they're like, no, you just have him on antibiotics. We're just gonna take him home.
Yeah,
right. And it's like,
yeah, antibiotics are not going to help you. You have a virus problem.
Our biggest reason we didn't do it, meaning getting the vaccine, is just with all these unnecessary stuff they add into it. With my own eyes, I have seen, I shouldn't do the dumb accent. With my own eyes, I have seen the damage it does to kids who are perfectly normal.
No, you have not.
And then once they get it, they're not the same anymore. And guess what about your kid, lady? Guess who's not the same anymore?
Yeah.
In a way that, like, first of all, that shit's made up.
Yeah.
Right. You were making it up. These neighborhood kids, that's essentially it. My friends' kids who were never the same after the vaccine. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Like you're so capable of imagining that. And yet the real actual risk to your child, the real sickness, the fact that your child will never be the same again. And you would do it all over again.
Frank, listen to me. That 18-month-old baby personality changed entirely after that shot.
Right.
Came home a little grumpy for a few days.
Right.
Because they got a shot that they didn't like.
Yeah.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Oh my God. Unfucking believable. So anyway, that's what's out there.
It's good to be God. Off the hook, no matter what. So
I know.
That's nice.
Yes. Also, here's a good quote about the mom's reaction when the kid's starting to get sick. And she's like, it's just one of those moments you think, no, this can't be.
Yeah. Alas.
Well, yeah, it can. It can. And you want to know why it can? Because you failed as a parent to do the most basic thing to protect your child from illness.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm actually on one. I'm feeling lots of anger.
I know. I can tell. So it's not going to be welcome when I say I feel some sympathy for these people. Not a lot, but some. They've been misinformed. They've been lied to.
They have been lied to.
And they've been misinformed by people who presented themselves as trustworthy, and they've been conned. And I have sympathy for that.
I have some sympathy, I guess, for that. But I also...
Yeah, let's check back in. Let's contact her in like 3 years when her kid has had struggles for years because of this encephalitis and whatever, and see how she's feeling about blaming God then. It's easy when it's all like crazy and wild and stuff, but when the day-to-day starts to hit, we'll see how that feels.
I'm just not so inclined to let people off the hook who have been conned, because it's all available to you. It's all out there. It is available to you. You could have, you grew up in a society where people vaccinated their kids. You were vaccinated, right? You grew up with the benefits, and you failed to consider what the world was like before. That was all out there. That was part of the story of vaccination. Anytime growing up, the miracle of preventing smallpox, right? We eradicated it. It's gone, right?
It'll come back. Don't worry. We'll find it again.
So it's just like, it's just so fucking astounding to me.
Yeah.
Right? That people will consistently think that they somehow know better, and they keep acting that way. Like these people, they didn't vaccinate. Then they take their kid to the hospital. Why did they even bother?
Right?
Like, why do you bother when once you get there, you're like, I don't know. You're giving me all this medical advice, which is ostensibly part of why I'm here.
Right.
Right.
I'm not feeling it.
And then let's just take him home. He's grumpy. Right.
Look, thanks. It was cute and all, but we're going to go and Jesus will help.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. I'm going to take us now to another frustration.
Oh, boy.
That is in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Where, you know, they passed one of these dumb, you have to post the 10 Commandments in all the schools.
Yeah.
Laws.
Sure.
And, you know, the good people of Louisiana, as well as, you know, in conjunction with the FUFRF and the ACLU and the Americans United and all these groups, they're fighting it. They've been fighting it, and they've been winning. So they won in lower court, and then they won on appeal, and then they won with a panel of judges, and then the state went to the entire Fifth Circuit. Now, if you know anything about American jurisprudence, you know that the Fifth Circuit is a garbage circuit that is populated by a bunch of jurists who are just partisan hacks. And for the most part, it's where good ideas go to be shredded. And so when it went to the full Fifth Circuit, they decided that even though, so there's this idea in American law that you have to be able to demonstrate an injury before you can sue for that injury.
Right.
And here's the thing. You can't like make up a scenario in which you might be injured and say, you know, if this law is allowed to go through, there's the potential of this injury.
Right.
But this law isn't like that. This law very clearly states what must be on the posters. You know what I mean? It very clearly tells you what's going to be there. It very clearly tells you where they're going to be in the classroom. So we don't have to imagine if those things are going to happen, they're going to happen. And that's been the sort of premise for why this has been allowed to go through without anyone having been injured yet, without anyone, any kids having been exposed to it yet, because no amount of imagination is really required to understand the legal ramifications of this.
Okay.
You can just say, we know what this is. We know exactly what's meant to happen. And so we can really adjudicate this now.
Sure. Okay.
Well, the Fifth Circuit decided that, this may or may not be constitutional, but nobody's been injured yet. And so blah, blah. So nobody has. So we're just going to have to wait and put up those posters. And then you can sue once the injury happens. This was partly the reason why we're going to have the final discussion at the end of the show that we're going to have.
We're going to let you be injured.
We're gonna allow the injury, and then you can.
We know what's coming.
Yeah,
brace yourselves.
We also have eyes and ears.
But it would be wrong for us to stop the injury.
Yeah. Well, you haven't even been damaged.
Let's see some people hurting first.
This law does
then maybe
say,
we'll do something.
Yes, the law says that the government is going to shoot everybody in the foot, but until someone's foot's hurt, how do we know it's actually going to injure people? It's so dumb. Hemant Mehta over on The Friendly Atheist brought up the fact that when they announced this, this law that they were doing, the Attorney General of Louisiana, Liz Murrill, mocked up several posters that were supposed to demonstrate, don't worry, this is a historical document. We're going to, one of the posters that you could put up It's got a quotation from Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh,
and it's got other documents on it. It's not just the 10 Commandments. It's got the English Bill of Rights. It's got the Declaration of Independence. It's got the Magna Carta.
Did she really think that the Democrats were going to be placated by an RGB quote, right? Like, RBG quote.
Let me tell you the RBG quote. Let me quote it to you, and then you'll see.
Oh yeah, okay.
Since the beginning of time, the world has known 4 great documents.
Oh.
Great because of all the benefits to humanity which came about as a result of their fine ideals and principles. And then it has the English Bill of Rights, the 10 Commandments, the Declaration of Independence, and the Magna Carta.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, if that quote from Ruth Bader Ginsburg sounded a little not quite as wise or as erudite as Miss Bader Ginsburg tended to be, that might be because that was from an essay she wrote in 8th grade. That is from PS 238 in Brooklyn, New York.
They dug that far back.
Well, she published it in her book, My Own Words.
Oh, okay. All
and
right.
Cute and all, but no, shut the fuck up.
So she stood by it, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, see?
She maybe I said it when I was in 8th grade, but I stand by it. Oh, golly.
These people do not have an ounce of genuineness.
Yeah.
Disingenuous is their neutral.
Yeah. That's amazing.
These people. They don't even have real principles. At all.
No. At this point, no.
There's not a real principle out there. There's not a value in sight. There's just rage bait, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
So frustrating.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah.
There's some focus out there right now by a lot of different groups about smartphones and the impact that having these devices just at the ready constantly in our pockets and in our hands. There's impact on focus. Like there's been studies looking at like how, we all know it, right? Like our ability to focus probably goes down. It clearly has gone down since the advent of the smartphone.
I wouldn't know. I have ADHD. My focus has never been a thing. So
okay.
But I believe
let me tell you, as somebody who had the ability to focus, and now a little less so. I'm intrigued by these theories, right?
Okay, sure.
Also, there's some stuff looking at just sort of mental health, right? Like time on these phones, because usually if you're you're not just staring at lists of phone numbers, right?
I am obviously. Right? I'm fascinated.
You're not endlessly doom scrolling through your contacts, right? Oh, she's a piece of shit, right?
Ooh, a 413 area code. Interesting.
Who was that? I don't even
Where
remember.
Is that from? I've got to look that up.
That's not what people are doing on their phones. That's not the problem, right? Yeah. The problem is, by and large, the social media apps that we're using while on our phones. Mm-hmm. That's probably where the damage is happening.
Yeah.
Even though I will say this, a lot of the lack of focus that I've noticed in my own personal life, because I don't do a lot of social media. I get on Reddit and I'll scroll through Reddit. Mm-hmm. I like that it's largely anonymous and that the feed isn't like, it's just different than the kind of content that you find like on Facebook. Right. So it doesn't kind of affect me the same way. And so I'm willing to get on. I don't get on every day. But that's kind of the limit of my social media. But I will say this, just having all the news in the world available at my fingertips, I found myself bouncing around a lot, which is where that's the problem with the focus. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's a lot of different groups that are concerned about this, both secular and Liberty University.
God.
Where they are doing a 28-day challenge, so 4 weeks through the month of February, inviting students at Liberty University to step away from social media, online shopping, and just general entertainment that they have on their phones, and in an effort to get them to connect better with each other and God.
That's the thing, they can connect just fine with each other on their phones through their socials and whatever. And then God just refuses. He's like he won't sign up for any of the socials.
Well, here's the deal. And
if God were on TikTok, everything would be fine.
Social media is a misnomer, right? Because it's not, it started off as social, right?
Yeah.
I remember the early Facebook. It was about going on and seeing what your friends were up to.
Yeah.
But now, and this is by Meta's the owners of Facebook.
Yeah.
Their own internal documents show that the typical user feed shows only 7% of content that is related to the people that they're friends with on Facebook. That goes for Instagram as well. And so it's not social media. It's now this, it's now all of this other content that the algorithm is feeding you that's they found out that like our friends actually aren't that interesting, right? That we won't sit there and spend hours on end baking our minds, right? Just seeing what our friends are up to.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Instead,
their whole, and Facebook's entire like raison d'etre is keep your eyes here. Do not leave this.
Yeah. And so there's a part of me that's actually like, okay, Liberty University, like I kind of am all for this, right? Yeah. Like your motivations of like, we want our students connecting better with or more with God. Okay, fine. I don't agree with that. But what we're seeing is not only is it religious organizations like Liberty University, but it's also just mental health providers and researchers who are like trying to legitimately sound the alarm as to the effect that these things are having on us.
Yeah.
Right? And
I'm with you to some extent, but also some of my guess is, and let's not forget that the Mormon Church has done this several times, has done we're going to do a fast from the internet for blah, blah, blah time or whatever. And I think that the reason that they're doing it is probably because all of their adherents are being exposed to, some pretty horrible things in their church and some pretty egregiously wrong doctrines that they have and some ideas that are obviously correct that they are opposed to. And I think people are starting to go, wait a minute though. Wait, what?
Yeah. I mean, that could be part of it. But I would also point to activities that like the digital Shabbat, right? Mm-hmm. Or tech Shabbat or whatever, where like being the practice of, once a week having a 24-hour period where you just kind of step away. Like,
thank God. I thought you were talking about robot Jews, and that was going to really. I was worried.
No. No, like stepping away and disconnecting, and having the silence that gives us in order to focus on other things, right?
I think those moments are very, very important.
Yeah,
I think people take them more than they're given credit for. I don't know. I could be wrong.
They do what?
They take these sabbaticals from their digital world more than they're given credit for. I think most people just sort of naturally go, okay, I need to stop for a little bit.
Well, but I think that's what the research is showing, that like that people on their own aren't doing it enough. That there is actual, whether it qualifies as actual addiction or not, we just have these impulses more and more to never just sit with silence, never just to be with our own thoughts. That like the moment that there's any sort of social, not even friction, just like, there's just like people use their phones to be in the same room with people and not feel uncomfortable. Right.
Yeah.
By just like we turn inward onto these phones instead of just sitting in the waiting room, right? While you're waiting at the dentist's office, everybody's on their phone, right?
Yeah, because it's so much better. It's so much better. It's such a better time to sit in a waiting room with a phone in your hand than it is to just sit there. It's so much nicer.
I don't know. Like, I think that like just being able to sit with yourself and to wait is actually a fine activity, right? And it's one
I think
that
it's good to be able to do that. I think it is good to be able to do that, and I also think I'm very glad I don't have to.
But these are like anything in life. These are skills, right? And these are things that when you don't do right regularly, you lose the ability to do. And like, watch people get really uncomfortable, right? Yeah. Watch people like take away their phones and people don't know what the fuck to do, right? And so anyway, there's a couple things in this article. Joey Odom, he's the co-founder of a digital wellness company called Arrow. He was speaking at Liberty University. and he had this to say: "We are surrounded by digital thorns. What it looks like to live differently is this. We have to stop bringing our phones to every moment of our lives." Right? Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I feel like the direction this is going is Frank and Liberty University have a message for you.
When we bring our phones into potential moments of fruit, we're just bringing thorns to a fruit party. Don't bring thorns to a fruit party.
Oh my God. Wow, that is the worst metaphor choices I've ever heard in my life.
This guy's not a good communicator of this concept, and
I'm
pissed.
Don't bring thorns to a fruit party. I'm pretty sure that was the brief motto of Grindr for a little while.
Funny, damn. No, like I feel like I am not somebody who's like, all of this needs to go away and everything will be better. Right.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not one who's like afraid of the new technology. Right. I am speaking from experience about the ways that social media made me feel, which is why I stopped going onto social media.
Yeah.
Right. And there's actually now research that backs that up. And there are groups, both religious and secular, that are trying to sound the alarm that that social media in particular increases anxiety and depression and insomnia. That it has been shown that reducing your use of these things improves those situations. And so
I think the bottom line here is Frank agrees with Liberty University.
Yeah, I do.
That you should raw dog waiting rooms. And Dan says, follow me on Threads at Mr_Beecher. All right, let's move on to an interesting. This is our friends over at Pew, I believe, who have come out with some new interesting stuff. and they were asking people, oh no, this is Gallup. Sorry. Gallup.
Totally different. Throws the whole thing off.
Oh my God. Just cancel me now. Gallup has done some polling about, Americans' trust of various professions, and their trust of, the ethics, of people of various professions.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting question. It's very vital when it comes to things like medical doctors or pharmacists or high school teachers, which, by the way, those are all going in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't trusting their medical doctors the way they used to, although that's on a little slight uptick. So that's nice. Pharmacists have consistently been sort of, fine. That's pretty level, but it is dropping a little bit now. High school teachers, it's very scary. People are just not trusting high school teachers more and more and more, probably because high school teachers are prone to doing things like not hating their gay and trans students enough or whatever.
Right.
Business executives are sort of in a free fall. That's always nice. Nobody's ever really trusted business executives, but they're going down. But the biggest plummet of all of the things that they have, and I'm looking at sort of the percent of high to very high honesty and ethical standards question. The question is, how many people, do you have high or very high trust in the ethical standards of all these people?
Yeah.
Clergy are obviously just in free fall.
No way.
If you go back, they've been asking this question for since 1977, basically 50 years.
Yeah.
And, back in the 70s and 80s, it peaked in 1985 at 67% of people had a high, very high or high trust in the ethics of the clergy.
Yeah.
That has had some ups and downs, but now from 67 in 85, and then another little peak at 64 in 2001. Where do you think we're at?
Oh, I think it's probably gone down.
How about 27%?
Oh, God.
Only 27% of Americans believe that clergy can be trusted to be ethical.
Wow.
To put it another way, only 27% think that they have a high or very high opinion of their ethics. 18% have a very low opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then there's a 48% are like, okay, they're probably average or whatever.
So how does that compare to, say, like teachers and doctors and
well, okay.
Numbers wise.
I'll just throw out the highest, the majority positive. Nurses are still killing it.
Yeah,
at 75%, very high. Military veterans, which I think is an interesting thing, because we've all seen, a Full Metal Jacket or whatever. But military veterans have a very high. That's not even a position. That's not even a job. Military veteran is, I used to have a job. I don't know why that's on there. Anyway, doctors are still majority positive, and pharmacists are still majority positive.
Majority, but that's not. I mean, it's okay to if you are hearing something from your doctor that doesn't jibe, question it.
Of course,
seek a second opinion.
Of
that's
course
always been a thing, right?
But the question is about the ethics of these people. So I think most people just assume that their doctors are going to be largely ethical.
Working, yeah. And so it's like, wow.
So 57% majority, high or very high. And then for medical doctors, 31% average. And then, a very small amount of people think very low.
Yeah.
And those are all people whose kids get the measles.
Yeah.
High school teachers are still tilt quite positive with over 50% of people thinking of them as having high or very high ethics, and over 34% are saying average. So that's 84% that think pretty well of teachers, with 15% thinking they have very low ethics. And also that same 15%, all their kids also get measles.
Yeah.
Police officers are plummeting. Of course, they should. Labor union leaders have never done well. But it's about even, really. The negative tilt. The scary thing for me is that the ones that tilt negative, some of them are very obvious. Telemarketers, nobody's going to think well of you. Car salespeople, nobody. Members of Congress are way down there, like literally sandwiched between car salesmen and telemarketers. Yeah. So that makes sense, but it's scary that journalists tilt negative.
Yeah.
So that's not great.
Yeah, this is no way to run a society.
No.
Right? Like the lack of trust that people have in each other and the general cynicism that we have toward each other and the perceived cynicism in others, right? The fact that we would think that so many doctors are just cynically, acting not in the interest of their patients.
On the take from big pharma.
Yeah, they're just there for the money. They're there for whatever. And people are motivated into certain careers because they're going to make good livings, right? But the fact that we're unwilling in such large numbers to see to perceive people as acting essentially in good faith, because that's what this is judging,
right?
Is that doctors are not good faith actors, right?
Yeah.
In large numbers, like almost what was it? 50% are they trust at the
doctors. 57% trust at the very high or high.
Okay.
Level.
But that's 43%, right? You said 57%?
57%.
So 43% of people are in a position of not really fully trusting the ethics.
Right.
Not the quality of the care.
Right.
The intentions of the person in the profession. Like that's sick.
Yeah, although
we can't live like this, we're not going to survive.
I think that we can all agree that like trusting in clergy, they deserved to lose many points. They brought that on themselves.
Yeah, but like again, isn't there something different? I don't know. Like we don't see. We are so quick to not trust.
Yeah.
The intentions of others, and that everybody's on the take, right? And you hear it all the time. You hear people like dismissing the motivations of any number of professions or people or situations, right? Where people are just like, it's sick. I'm really let me tell you. It's social media, Dan.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, while we get grumpy old Mr. Feldman to stop yelling that we need to get off of his lawn, we're going to
get off. I'm not yelling about my lawn, Dan.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
I'm
trying to save some people.
All right. Well, everybody, if you would like to write in to us about Frank's lawn or any of the things that we've talked about, please feel free to do so. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. There's more show coming up.
Well, Frank, we had some folks. We had somebody call into us. No emails this week, which I think is an odd anomaly.
How is that possible?
I don't know. We only have four listeners. So
did you test the email? Is it working?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, we were getting notifications from various places, but
okay, all right.
Anywho, we did have a voicemail, did we not?
We did, yeah. This is somebody who took me up on the question of how much would it take, monetarily speaking, to get you to go to church every week, all right, for the rest of your life.
Let's tune in.
Hey, Frank and Dan. Frank, thanks for asking me what it would take for me to go back to church. Every Sunday, every service, stay there. Look, guys, I already got released early. Time off for, time served already. I had a drug problem as a kid because I was drugged to church, and then I was too stupid as a young adult not to quit dragging myself. So, short answer to your question, what the hell is the current national debt? You pay me that up front in cash, and I'll have my fat ass in a pew I think mega churches use chairs now. Anyway, I'll have my fat ass in that congregation every Sunday. Now, granted, I'm going to find a medical way with all this money to make myself temporarily deaf, because you didn't tell me I couldn't do that. Anyway, love the show. That was a great question. Thank God I'm atheist. This is David from Aden, North Carolina.
Well, thank you, David. That's, yeah, okay. It would take a lot to get David back there, and I understand that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't. Don't even give me the national debt.
You're just, the answer, it's a no from you, dog.
It is a hard no.
It would be, it's
as I said
before, my number is shockingly low.
Oh no, how much is it, Dan?
Because I don't give a fuck. I'll go to church.
Every week?
Yeah, I don't care. I'll be bored for an hour or two every week for, it would have to be enough to really make it worth my while. But if it replaced an actual salary or whatever, and that was just my job now, well, okay.
Your job for millions of dollars would be to go to church for an hour a week. If you look at it that way, we go to work and not necessarily enjoy it.
People suffer through a cube farm, middle management or whatever for not much money. People will put up with being abused as customer service representatives or as, a fast food fry cook. I think those are all noble professions. I would not enjoy them. And to get any money out of it, you have to go 40 hours a week. Yeah. I could do 2 hours a week and make a decent money. Fine. I will laugh about it, and I will start another podcast and just make fun of it the whole time.
Oh no. Well, it also the rules we didn't really put rules around. Although I do feel like it was phrased "go back to church." Mm-hmm. So the sense is you go back to that awful one that you used
from whence you came.
Yeah, the one that made you never want to go to church again.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
a little rougher. There's a lot of you're really putting yourself through potential trauma.
Right? Yeah. The truth is, you have to have healed yourself. So that you can go in there and they can't hurt you anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm to that point. I feel like, 40 years on or 30 years on from when I left, I can look back on it and just, I've been back to church, you know what I mean? Yeah. For various things. I try not to go anymore, but I just get an almost anthropological chuckle out of it. Just this is really interesting.
It still gives me the heebie-jeebies.
That's just totally fair. That is 100% fair.
I'm not gonna internally implode or anything, but
it's gross. I get it.
I don't like the messaging and I think I would have a hard time sitting there watching the indoctrination and it would
tricky.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we have anyone to thank?
Well, we do, Dan. But before we get to that, if you would like to support the show, if you would like to help us keep the show running, you can do so by going to our website, thankgodimatheist.com/donate. donate. And then there's options. We have a whole thing up on Patreon.
Yeah. Don't be fooled. There's a thing that looks like it's an ad over on the side, over on the margin of the website. And
that's the Patreon.
And that's the Patreon. That's from us. That's not an advertisement. That's from us. So don't get tricked.
Yeah. And but as always, Dan, we have our top donor to thank. Our Lord and Savior, Alexandra.
More show coming up. Well, Frank,
Dan,
we talked earlier in the show about the 10 Commandments going into the classrooms. They'll make it in. They will probably make it in to Louisiana classrooms.
Sure.
And here's
the poor kids in Louisiana.
Here's the thing. Like, I look at these and I see the importance of fighting this fight. I see that it is vital because we don't want to give ground and we can't afford to. But then I also ask myself, how much real harm is happening if a bunch of kids, most of whom are being raised Christian anyway, see the 10 Commandments on a dumb poster in their classroom? And I gotta say, like, when I imagine it, when I put myself into that classroom, especially when I put myself there as a child, as a child who never read anything on any wall ever, because why would I care about what the fuck's on the wall on a poster or whatever if it doesn't, you know what I mean? I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, the truth is, what does it say? It does say, love your God with all your blah, 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 and God is good, and blah, blah, blah. But it also says things like don't steal and don't murder and obvious shit.
Right.
And if my kid, my hypothetical atheist kid that I'm raising atheist without any belief in God, goes and sees that 10 Commandments, do I think that they're suddenly going to become Christian? Do I think that that's what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like you could have the exact same conversation with your kid that you would have before sending them off to Catholic school.
Yeah.
Which is something that people do because the Catholic schools are often quite good, right?
Right.
I mean, I know a lot of non-Catholics send their kids to Catholic schools in Salt Lake because we've got a couple really good Catholic high schools.
Right.
Right. And that's probably a choice that I would make, to be honest.
Sure.
But I would have a conversation with the kids beforehand and just be like, hey, you're going to be going to a religious high school and this is what's going to be talked about. And
there's going to be some weird mumbo jumbo.
Yeah,
don't go into a room with Father so-and-so alone.
Yeah.
And
and just like, like ask questions, but be respectful and blah, blah, blah. Right. Yeah. And I ultimately at a public school, they're going to be getting a lot less religion than that.
Yeah.
And so it does feel like the kind of thing that you can easily, talk to your kids about. But we shouldn't have to be having those conversations, sending
Absolutely
our kids
not.
to public schools.
Yeah.
And there shouldn't be the obvious preference being shown to a religion.
It clearly privileges
or to religion in general. Right?
And a lot of atheist kids are made to feel otherized already.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that is damaging to their mental health. And this is just sort of this is just state sponsored and school sponsored, and even it will feel like teacher sponsored otherization.
Well, the problem is that ideally you have your religious teachers sort of working in an environment where they know that they keep their beliefs to themselves.
Right.
Right. And the more that you allow things like 10 Commandments up on the wall, and they're working to get prayer back into the school, you start creating opportunities for those same teachers to now be a little more open and a little more willing to share their own personal beliefs and to use their influence as teachers, on kids and on their belief systems. I mean, I grew up in an area where the teachers felt completely free to talk about religion in the classroom at public schools.
I would guess that most of the schools in Louisiana, even now, kind of feel mostly that way.
It's possible. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It is such a strongly Christian area that I think the impunity is probably there.
Especially in your smaller rural places.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. There will be some malicious compliance where like some teacher will put up their 10 Commandments poster and then put up the pillars of Buddhism and then put up the Hindu beliefs or whatever, just so that it's an inclusive sort of thing.
Sure.
And I think that is the way to go. Like if this thing goes through, you just have a, religions of the world section of your wall that you always have.
Yeah.
And just do that.
Well, yeah. Okay.
So I don't know, but in the end, I think that alone will have a big impact. Just for one kid experiencing that in the classroom, I think they'll be fine.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like for the most part, other than sort of it subtly becomes part of something bigger.
Yeah.
We could talk about some other things. Like. I don't know. I was thinking about the Pledge of Allegiance. We haven't talked about it for a long time. That's just such a weird American thing that most Americans don't even realize. It's so fucking weird. Because I was thinking about the under God in that and just how, it's not great. It's not. It feels. It is exclusive. It is privileging the Christians over non-Christians or at least God believers. But I mean, you got to think that even a Muslim or a Jewish person, they know that when they say one nation under God, that's meant to be the Christian God. Like we all know which God that's supposed to be talking about. So even if you believe in a God, but it's not like quite that God, you're in your mind going, okay, I'm thinking of Allah, but we all know it's Christian, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
But also
I'm not sure that would be a universal reaction.
Yeah, maybe not. But I will say the Pledge of Allegiance is just bullshit itself. Just in and of itself, it is just so weird to ask people to pledge allegiance
to a flag
or to a country. I just think it's just like, you know what? That's not,
Well, I just think that we should bring back the original salute, Dan.
No. I do know the original. Now, when we say our Pledge of Allegiance, we put our hands on our hearts. But originally, when
we used to heil to the flag.
It was an arms straight out. Not in. Oh, don't take a screenshot of what I just did if you're on.
Fortunately, we couldn't actually see your hands, so it just looked like you were kind of reaching for something.
Good.
I was going to warn you against it.
I forget that we're on YouTube sometimes.
Yeah. But yeah, the Pledge of Allegiance is problematic and weird, and I had thought that schools we're kind of not doing it every morning anymore. In a lot of areas.
I don't know. I don't got kids in school. I don't know how often, how prevalent the pledge is. But I mean, even in public spaces, in government space, like Pete Hegseth, I think is starting to have people do the pledge before a prayer and all that.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, prayer at public meetings, city council meetings or whatever. The question is just, we know that societally and systemically, it's really damaging. It's not okay, and we have to fight it. But in the experience of just I go to a city council meeting and I sit there and somebody does a prayer, that's annoying. It's weird. It's a little gross. I'd be fine. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine.
You're
it's
fine.
Not, it's not fine as a thing. It's not okay for it to be happening.
Sure.
But I think my larger question is just like,
how much does it? Yeah.
How much? Like, if we lose these battles piece by piece, we will have to claw them back at some point.
Right.
But in the meantime, yeah. I think we're going to be okay with most of them.
Okay. Well, what else is on your list? You said you had a list of culture war items.
You know, nativity scenes at the city hall, or and they don't allow the satanic one or whatever. Frankly, there should be no displays of religion at all in the city hall. Like, it's so easy to just be like, no, we just don't do those.
Right.
We can do, you can do a winter scene if you want, but
a winter scene. Okay.
There's just no need to decorate the city hall. You just don't have to do it.
Dan, you are like the least. What about being festive for the season?
There's so many other places in your city to make festive. Everything. The church can be festive. The school, schools.
Maybe not the schools.
Maybe not the schools.
I don't know. Parks, not the street lamps, not.
Just have a party.
You're
You make your home festive. That's what's supposed to be festive. Anyway, okay. I don't know. What else? You know, there's some higher stakes stuff that I think we can all sort of, you know, allowing public funds to fund charter schools that's not one that's like you can't brush that off.
Yeah, that needs
because
to be
that's taking money.
No,
that's taking money away from public schools and could literally break public schools.
Yeah, yeah, and there's I know that there have been good charter schools that have happened, but it seems like just as often bad charter schools happen.
Yeah, religious charter schools that teach you know. Creationism and and all this.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about religious ones. There's just like lower performing charter schools the charter school system has allowed a lot of bad schools to function using government money that would have otherwise been in the actual public education system.
Right.
And so like I have some mixed feelings about charter schools in general. About whether they should
I even think if it's a good school, if it's a religious school, it shouldn't be getting public funding. If it's you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like the Catholic schools that you were talking about that are good Catholic schools,
they shouldn't.
No, that's not what that's for.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there are other things like, you know, faith-based adoption agencies that like you know, should they be allowed to discriminate against, you know, gay or trans or atheist potential adoptive parents? And no,
not if they're getting public funds.
Not if they're state funded. That is just absolutely that the harm is so clear and real in some of those higher stakes things that. They're like, you know, it's a different conversation than, you know, some kids at school have a moment of silence that has obvious, you know, prayer that's supposed to be a prayer sort of thing, or teaching intelligent design alongside evolution is stupid and should not be done. But if you're also teaching evolution, then at least
Wow.
Yeah, that one's maybe bigger. That one's bigger than the other ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not.
So I mean, that's the point. Is like they're like some of them have higher impact than others. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So it's just a matter. It's not a matter of picking our battles in terms of. You know, this is a moment. These are all things where the slippery slope is not a fallacy; it's a very real thing. If we start to allow our society to go in the direction of, or to continue to go in the direction of favoring one religion over other religions and over non-religion, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's
not, I think that what the problem is that a lot of these things are sort of on the Christian nationalist, list of things that they want to see. Yeah. And so what it feels like is, if you're like, oh, well, not the biggest, it's not a huge deal, right, to get the 10 Commandments in the schools. Ultimately, though, like, we're living in a society where the Christian nationalists are winning, and we can't have, like, they're little battles along the way in a larger war, to use a kind of metaphor that I don't like.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that's how they see it, right? They are waging war on American society.
Yeah.
And they're trying to completely take over our government and the social sphere of America. And they're trying to push the elements that they don't like to the side. You hear the nasty things they say just about, non-believers.
Atheists.
Hegseth said stuff this last week that was nasty against non-believers and trans people all in one breath.
Yeah. He's a peach.
And so, like, you're right. Like, the living through the defeat of one of these may not destroy our lives.
Right.
But it shows that we are going the wrong direction. And the direction that we're going is toward Christian nationalism.
And these small wins create little precedents that can be built upon to make bigger wins.
Exactly.
And so that we can't let up. We can't let up, even though, your kid's going to be fine if they see a dumb 10 Commandments poster with a Ruth Bader Ginsburg 8th grade essay quote.
Well, I think the important thing here is to not lose, like, you're right. Like, this isn't something to break down over, right?
Yeah.
And to fall into hysterics over.
But it
is a reminder that we need to be fighting harder, right, against these people.
Yeah.
We need to be holding our ground as much as possible.
Yep.
Because hopefully the country wakes up to what's going on.
Well, yeah, we're doing our best. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, if you would like to write into us, you can do so. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
If you'd like these riveting conversations that we have and you would like to become a part of keeping it going and keeping us alive, you can go to thankgodimatheist.com/donate to give us a little bit of your money.
This episode was edited by Roger Gowdy and music was provided by the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston.
Yeah, thanks so much to all y'all for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank God I'm Atheist is a production of TGIA Media, LLC, copyright 2026, all rights reserved.